Hi guys. I'm outside with my small daughters. I wanted just to take a short time to explain a bit about the dangers of the herbal medicine of the Maasai and Samburu and Ilchamus use. They use the roots, the bark, the trunk, the leaves, the pods and seeds of different trees for different medicinal use, mainly for stomach, respiratory, malaria, and joints issues. And if you have not done this before, there are quite some dangers. It's actually very very dangerous. And the first one I would say is that there is a few medicine would a few species I would recommend not to use, because if you overdose them, severely dangerous. And it's very difficult to know to overdose if you're not used to these herbs, because every herb, every tree has its different strength. You can't say that, oh, use a tablespoon of this species, mix it with water and boil, and you'll get the result you need. You find that every tree has its own strength, and this changes because of different factors. You'll find it will differ depending on the age of the tree. So older trees tend to get stronger. Sometimes you can use both the bark or the roots, and you find that the roots are more stronger always. There are trees that grow in the highlands, and there are trees that grow in the drylands, and there are trees that grow in the desert. And you find that the more dry the area is, it tends to make the tree to be more strong again. And then the season when you harvest, if you harvest during drought or if you harvest during rain season, the strength of the components will also differ in whatever you harvest. And it seems that when you take it in the dry season, it's more strong. And then in how old, these herbs, when you remove them and then they are put in a herbalist place. Some of these guys, they sell very old things, and others sell very new things, because these herbs, actually, I have herbs that are like 5 years old and I'm still using, and they are okay. It's just like I would say it's like cinnamon. The ones that doesn't last as well. Yeah. So these are the issues. So the difference between the strength of the herbs are very, very, very different. Yeah. So these are one of the issues, and then there's some specific species that are very, very strong, like osokonoi, sokoni. If you overdose, you can get some bleeding in the stomach. Or there's another one called makutukuti or makutukut, and this one is also very, very strong. And you can actually, there are people who have died from it in traditional use, because they were not careful. Yeah. And then if you're pregnant, you're not supposed to use any of these herbs because most of them are having a effect and can even cause abortion. And yeah, for pregnancies, it's only a very, very few number of herbs that has been used, and it's better you talk with the old woman about these issues. You have to be very careful. Yeah, so these are the main issue. The main issue is actually it's hard to determine the strength, and how I determine the strength is I test. So if I get a new herb, firstly, another thing is you have to really be sure you have the right species. If you take the wrong species, maybe you are in the bush and you take the wrong species, you can really be in trouble. And then some herbalists, they sell herbs in markets in Nairobi, Nakuru, in Narok, Kajiado, Samburu, even Marigat, other places, and you'll find sometimes they're not really sure what they are doing, and that's very dangerous as a consumer. So to me, how I use herbs, I have learned to differentiate the tree, and even the herbs, when I see them, I can see on the color. Some barks are red, some are white, some are gray, some have different structures, and then the smell, it's different, and the taste is different between all these things. And I've learned to identify these guys, these different ones, and I think that's how it should be consumed. And I don't want to recommend anything, but I want to make you guys to be careful if you test these things. Yeah. So those are the main issues. So hope you learned something new. Talk to you next time.